what your body's been trying to tell you and how to finally listen. Have you ever felt tired for no apparent reason? Anxious when everything on the outside seems to be okay? Or that your body is carrying something that your mind just can't explain? If you've spent years pushing through pain, burnout, and overwhelm, your body might be holding the answers. And in this video, we're going to explore how to finally start listening. I'll show you how patterns, emotions, and symptoms are messages from your body, and how you can start responding in a way that brings peace, power, and healing back into your body. Here's the truth that many of us were never taught. Your body is your subconscious mind. It holds on to unprocessed pain, outdated beliefs, and every moment you had to pretend like everything was okay when it actually wasn't. When you disconnected from your needs, you suppressed your truth or silenced your inner child. Your body doesn't forget. It holds on and carries that weight. The anxiety in your chest, the tightness in your jaw, the exhaustion that doesn't lift no matter how much you sleep, those aren't random symptoms. They're messages. Your body actually speaks through physical symptoms like chronic pain, hormone imbalances, or gut issues. It can also speak through emotional waves like sudden sadness, irritability, or even numbness. It also shows up in repeated patterns like burnout, overgiving, or difficulty saying no. Most of the time, these signals are our nervous system stuck in survival mode. We just learn to override them because slowing down and being present in our bodies felt so unsafe in childhood. But healing begins when we become fluent in our body's language and respond with presence and compassion, not control. I used to get these crushing tension headaches and pain in my lower back that just wouldn't let up. Every time I said yes when I actually meant no, every time I ignored my own needs just to caretake others, it's like my body would slam on the brakes. After one particularly chaotic day, I literally laid down on the floor and finally had to acknowledge, I just can't hold all this for you anymore. And I knew I had to start actually deeply listening, not just spiritually, but also physically. I'd like to share some somatic tools that I still actually use as a way to regulate my nervous system and listen to the messages from my body. The first practice is grounding and orienting. There are so many ways to do this. And one of the traditional ways is to use a practice of naming the things you can see, the things you can hear, the things you can smell, the things you can touch, the things you can taste. But it's also about giving your body the signal it needs to know where you are in time and space. One of the easiest ways to do this is to just go outside if you're able. Put your bare feet on the earth and get some sunlight into your eyes. Don't look directly into the sun. Your body will know. Just go outside and allow the Schumann resonance and the earth and nature to help you reorient. Animals do this naturally. They don't have watches, but they know where they are in time and space. This practice brings you back to the present moment and signals to your body and your nervous system that you are, in fact, safe. If I'm not able to actually go outside, I will use EFT tapping, which is the emotional freedom technique, where we tap on acupressure points to help signal to your body and your nervous system that we can relax. It's a simple practice of starting with tapping, and there's various points that you can use. There are so many videos out there about EFT tapping, but sometimes in a pinch, I will just start tapping this. Let it be intuitive. Just connect with your body wherever it feels good. We don't want to overcomplicate these practices because I think that's where so many of us get stuck. Trust yourself. Just see how it feels. Where does it feel good? This one. Oh, breathe. I like to tap particularly robustly, but it doesn't have to be robust. You can do very gentle. Some of us need that gentleness. I have just been using these practices for such a long time that it feels good to really give it a good thump. One of the other physical type practices I like to use to reconnect to my body is to use my rebounder, where I gently let gravity reorient in time and space, and also inverted yoga poses. Nothing complicated. This could just be a downward dog or going simply into child's pose and just staying there and breathing and allowing your body to soften. I'm also someone who advocates and suggests Kundalini yoga to many of the people that I work with because it's had such a profound impact on my nervous system regulation. And I have linked a playlist below from a Kundalini yoga instructor who's provided some really good videos for beginners on how you start using those practices to come home to your own body. Another great practice is bilateral stimulation. Now, there's so many different practices here, and that word sounds big, but basically it's just when we're engaging both sides of the brain together to help signal safety to our body. One of the easiest ones that helps a lot with anxiety is called the butterfly hug. And it's simply where we just gently provide stimulation to both sides through a gentle tapping. But there's also various different eye movement sequences that you can do, where we're basically just moving our eyes to the left and to the right. And then we go up and diagonally down, and you can even tilt your head. And then you do the other side. Don't let it be complicated. With the eye movement, it's basically when we're moving forward, our eyes are naturally scanning our environment. And this just helps to give us that sense that there is no danger present for us. And again, it lets the body soften and relax. And that's really what we're going for here. Because so many of these symptoms that are showing up for people is because we're holding. We're so tense and tight, and we're up here and our jaws are tight. And it's because our body isn't soft and fluid, it's very tense and rigid. And that's what creates a lot of that discomfort for us. And so we want to soften. And that way, our subconscious and our symptoms in our body can be more fluid and come up for healing and release. Another tool I use is sound healing and time in nature. But there's so many options available through sound healing. My preference is for sound bowls, but check it out and see what resonates for you. There's so many good audio tracks out there with different frequencies that are felt in the body. And so you just have to try a few and see which ones feel good to you or which ones kind of help you to relax. Your body will sync up to those frequencies. And naturally, you'll be able to borrow some of that energy to help your body to reorient towards softness and space. Time in nature is something that I advocate for everyone. In our day and age, we are so disconnected from our primal roots. We now spend a majority of our time indoors, where we can't actually get the full benefit of being outdoors. Now, you don't have to turn into somebody who loves to be outside in nature, but you can do this in really small increments throughout the day. A lot of times, I'll just step outside, get some sunshine, or even if it's a cloudy day, your body is sophisticated and it knows. It's just about allowing yourself to be out in the element in some way. But I also love to take daily walks or even to go on nature hikes, because the trees, the grass, the animals, the birds, being out there, even listening to bird song can be really helpful because it reorients us into a more peaceful, natural, effortless flow in our lives. It reminds us of who we are at our core. Another practice I will do when I need a really quick reset is to stomp and shake. Sometimes people I work with are reluctant for this one because it actually feels a little bit silly to most people. If you can come at this from your younger self, when we didn't have all of the filtering and worrying about what other people think, it actually feels good. A big wide stance and you want to stomp your feet, you want to shake. It feels great. It just looks kind of silly. But you know what? We're reconnecting with our inner child anyway, and she loves it. And she wants you to do more of it, right? Releasing the tension. We're moving it through the body. We're letting it move. Let yourself move and let yourself be free, because what other people think doesn't really matter. And most of this you're going to be doing in the privacy of your own home. So let yourself experiment and explore. We have to reconnect to our bodies, and we have to be willing to do things that don't feel comfortable to us, because growth is a practice of getting comfortable with discomfort. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes, and the more effortless it is to just allow ourselves to move in whatever way our body is telling us it needs or wants to move. Plus, we hold a lot of our stored trauma in our lower half, our hips, our belly, our thighs. And so, even just doing hip circles, just letting ourselves feel into our body and releasing all of that tension that gets stored down there. It's primal, but it's so powerful. And if you want a beautiful, simple way to begin, download my free Return to Yourself Nervous System Reset audio that's linked in the description below. It's an audio track that's going to help you to relax and reconnect to your body and to your true, authentic self. Because your body isn't just reacting, it's actually replaying patterns, old scripts, old identities, and old fears. It's replaying them on a loop again and again and again. Somatic tools help us with regulation, but subconscious rewiring is how we create lasting change. Here's what helped me the most: hypnotherapy tracks. It helps us install new patterns of worth and safety into our body. When we're able to relax first and slow down our brain waves, we're more easily able to bypass the analytical mind and go into those deeper states where the words that you're listening to go straight into your subconscious and start repatterning those old beliefs and thought patterns. The second thing that's incredibly powerful is reconnection with our own inner child. Checking in with yourself daily, journaling, visualizing, allowing yourself to listen deeply to those needs that your inner child is desperately trying to get you to hear. It is a practice and it does take time, but if you're persistent and you come at it with compassion and gentleness and kindness towards yourself, the messages that you receive can truly transform the way you show up in your life. Because most of our emotional reactivity and our self-defeating patterns or self-sabotaging behaviors are a result of the inner child taking the reins in those moments of activation and making choices and decisions from old programming where we did not feel safe. Another powerful practice is self-concept affirmations. These are what I call statements of truth. Once we have started our inner self-discovery and inquiry process, and we started to identify many of our limiting beliefs, then we can turn those beliefs around into statements of truth. And we can then start immersing ourselves in these statements multiple times throughout the day. I personally like to record myself reading through these statements so that it's easy for me just to listen to them on a loop whenever I have a moment. But you can also write them out and do it that way in the morning or in the evening. But the most important piece is that we're not just speaking it. We have to actually connect it to feeling. We have to feel the version of us that already has downloaded these new truths. What would she think? What would she believe? How would she behave? We have to envision the version of us that this is already our truth. Because once it's embedded and downloaded into the subconscious mind, that will be your new reality. This is how we move from survival to self-belonging. Your body isn't betraying you. It's the most loyal messenger you have. Start by believing its messages matter. Start small, but start now. Begin the journey of coming home to your true, authentic self. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing this work. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Take care.